Welcome back to the Everything Challenge on the No Man's Land map. We are playing with the Farm Production Pack, the Farm Production DLC, and in front of us we have a $200,000 solar array, and this array is about 9 months old now. The robot has been going up and down vigilantly. The placement circle for this thing is about the length that you can see. So this is roughly the radius it can be here. It could be out this way, like way out here, up to that distance. What I did is I placed it the same distance from this edge to there with the hope that it would represent some type of coverage over to here. The good news is, even though the circle is about here, the robot will happily go all the way to about 2/3, about over here somewhere. And so it was able to cover about $150,000 worth of panels. So what happened is once it got to here, it didn't stop. It actually went all the way back to the first panels and then continued on again. So we've had these panels for about 9 months now. If we look at the finances, so it was $200,000 to put them down, and they have been running consistently. So when they started a little bit further back here in the past, it was 48, 45, and 31, 18, 18, and 15, and 15. It's been going down and down and down. I don't know how low it's going to go, but realistically, about half of the array is probably dirty. And it's a pity we don't get an indicator at the bottom right corner. A little bit of feedback for the producers. It'd be nice to have a percentage clean information. So in light that this robot guy only can do a certain amount in a certain amount of time, I think it's prudent to make arrays at maybe about $100,000 worth, so about half the length of this. So as far as finances are concerned, let's say it bottoms out at $15,000 for a $200,000 array. It means it's roughly a 12 to 15 month payoff ratio. At the start, it was a lot better. I am wondering whether, because it's winter months and there's less hours in the day, that's a contributing factor. So we'll continue to run time forward and see what happens and start looking at other things as we go through it. One of the other things that the farming production has brought is a new liquid fertilization factory. The factory needs to be placed next to cows, and you can also place it next to pigs. So basically anything that makes slurry, I think, because unlike the cows also make manure. The pigs do not. So I was able to place it here, and we can go in the construction menu and have a look at that. Under productions, factories, there's this Lily thing, and you can see here that it's happy. And if I put it over here, I put the one here. It says you already have one here. So that does that. For the sake of it, let's put this here and we'll compare and contrast the two. So that's the second one. The output of this is based on the animals. And so if we look at this guy and look at the controller, this one's producing 160 to 320, and this one's doing 540 to 1080. So this one's associated with the cows. So if we look at the cows, we have 56 plus 24, which is 80. And so it's a pretty easy math, that 80 times by 2. And so the rate of this is basically 2 times cows, right? For pigs, way bigger. So 540 is going to be 250 plus 20, 270. And if we look in here, there is roughly 120, 180, 240, 270. So from a efficiency point of view, if you want to get the most out of this thing, absolutely put it next to a pigsty. Pigsties tend to have more animals in them, and you'll get a higher rate. So the next question is, do you actually need that much liquid fertilizer? From a money point of view, we'll look at the rate. It was it 2 to 1? I think it was 2 to 1. Yeah, so 2 to 1. So for every 1,000 liters you put in, you'll get 2,000 out. If we look at the purchase costs for those, which will be under pallets, so acid is costing you $400 for 1,000 liters, and that $400 worth of acid is going to turn into 2,000 liters worth of liquid fertilizer. So realistically, we can divide that by 2. So $200 of acid will turn into 1,000 liters of liquid fertilizer. And liquid fertilizer, just using this one as an example, is roughly 1,600 per 1,000. So $200 versus 1,600, absolute no-brainer. That is a huge amount of money to make. But the question is, do you actually want to make that much liquid fertilizer? So the unit itself, if you look at the construction menu, the unit itself, production, factories, is $80,000. So realistically, you need to make 80,000 liters of liquid fertilizer to cover the costs of the plant. And then it just comes down to the rate that you can produce it at, which is, for the pigs going to be much higher than the cows. You could always sell the liquid fertilizer. So let's say you bought the $200 to make 1,000 liters. The sell price, I don't know if liquid fertilizer can be sold. Obviously, you're going to use it on the farm, but can you sell liquid fertilizer? Liquid fertilizer, yes, it does. So yeah, from a selling point of view, you're going to get about 2,200. So yeah, $200 in is going to make $2,000 out. That is an absolute money bonanza. So yeah, so the farm shop. Oh no, actually, the Lily Sphere is buying it. No, let's see if you buy it from there. So nobody is willing to. How's that work? Nobody's willing to buy it? Because you can buy it from the shop as liquid at 3,000 for 1,000 versus as pallets, which is a bit cheaper. But why would these things want to buy liquid fertilizer? That makes no sense. So yeah, it looks like there's no selling station for liquid fertilizer. And so you're only going to be making it for the actual field reasons. Are you going to make $80,000 worth of liquid fertilizer? Or are you going to use it, I should say? Probably not. But once again, it's cool, it's new, it's fun. Look, helicopter. So while that guy's going over, you can follow that down the road. Over here, actually I might just jump over there using the map. Let's jump across to a root silo. I have put down, as it goes dark, the two productions that are also existing. So this one turns sweet beet into cut sweet beet. So I believe it's because it's just a production that you turn on. You can hear it turn on off. I believe it's probably going to be 1-to-1. So from a money point of view, the sweet beet is going to go from, where's our numbers? Looking for it. It's going to go from roughly a peak of 260 to a peak of 380. So it's a very simple way of adding, what's that? Nearly 50% of its worth to it. So that unit costs how much to put down. So this is also a production. Costs $85,000. And so you're making 50%. So you would have to sell $160,000 worth of sugar beet to cover that cost. Once again, there's not, with this one, with the liquid fertilizer, you're probably not going to use that much. So it probably doesn't have that much reason from a financial point of view, but it's great from a fun gameplay point of view. Same thing with this. The cost of it is pretty exorbitant. And also this has a limited capacity to get in and out. So I think this might get a little bit frustrating from a usability point of view. The last thing is the cleaner. And so that's another production. We'll have a look at that. So this washing drum, you put stuff in and roughly get 80% back out again. So the availability of sell points for these does vary. So you may make something and then can't sell it. So because of the new varied market system they're using. So just use carrots as an example. So carrots is roughly $289 maximum. And for 1,000 liters, it will turn into 800 liters. And so you would have to compare that to 289 divided by 0.8. So $361 worth of carrots is what you're putting in to make 1,000 liters of washed carrots. And if we sell the washed carrots, it's $546. So you are going to make an extra $100 or $200, $360 up to $540. So that's a good example of a pretty good value add. And we just have to go through all of these to work out what the ratio is. Once again, from a production point of view, you have to pay for the cost of putting this down, and also the laboriousness of feeding it. Not too much will go in at once, plus you need to give it water. That's not too hard. And I believe this pours out onto the ground, so that's also a little bit more of a problem. You probably can put an auger here and then get that to get it into your truck. Once again, another cost. So from a financial point of view, this thing's a little bit laborious and it's going to be a slow slog to pay it back. Look, if you do it year after year after year, it's going to make its money back, but it's definitely an engagement, enjoyable thing. Same thing goes with this. I think the ethos behind this farm production pack is that it has brought diversity to the game, not necessarily economic benefit. The solar panels do seem to have roughly the same or maybe slightly worse solar benefits. So once again, from an economy point of view, that's different, but it does give you that new squeegee wash thing. So yeah, across the board, looking at all the productions, it's an interesting mod. You could say the same argument with the straw DLC, this pellet thing. That's a $380,000 trailer. There's absolutely no way, even the rental of it at 30-something thousand, it doesn't justify itself. And when you look at the pellet factory that makes pallets, which I've got over here, it also is very, very hard to justify. I think that building was $100,000, and I don't think it actually modifies the price of the goods. This thing, it's quite laborious. Once again, Giant seemingly has made DLCs. We have a light switch in here. Is there a light switch? Are you a light switch? Doesn't seem to be a light switch. Light switch, light switch, light switch. Yeah, this thing doesn't seem to actually have any benefit. Yes, you get to make cool pallets, gives you something to do, but scooping them up from here and putting them into this thing is quite hard. The crane is horrifically hard to use, so that's, once again, it could be fun for some people. At least there's an alternative that you could use, a telehandler or something like that, to move things around. But from a money point of view, straw pellets in pallet form versus in raw material form, they're worth the same thing. So yeah, we look down here. Yeah, there's no differentiation for pallet versus not pallet. If you want to do something interesting, there's a couple of mods out there. The maple syrup mod's kind of cool. The Polish dry corn drying mod, whatever it's called, is another interesting one. At least with these ones, this one is risky a greenhouse, so it's always economically going to be valid. And when it comes to dry corn, it does actually do a value add of the corn in versus the corn out. So, where are we with this farming production DSC? Personally, I think it's great. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I think there's lots of shortcomings for some people, like this new shed. It's annoying. The gutter hits the semi-trailer. The semi-trailer can't drive in, but this set pallet storage looks a lot better than this one, quite frankly. Yes, there are mods, but I don't like to be in a situation where mods are the answer. And in my world, I'm going to use the farming one rather than the bigger warehouse style mods, because I simply think they look better. Before we sign off, let's have a quick look at the finances on that solar farm. Look, it's gone up again. So whether it was because it was winter or because the panel wasn't cleaned, I don't know, but it looks like it varies between $15,000 and $43,000. So those solar panels seemingly will pay off for themselves in 8 or 10 months. And in light of that, I'm going to put them down in every playthrough I can. It's an easy way of turning a $100,000 investment into a perpetual $100,000 investment, if not more, for every year. So Yeah, what do you think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Is it okay or not okay that Giants has invested in new game mechanics over things that improve the economy? I know a lot of people want vehicles and stuff, but quite frankly, there is a lot of vehicles out there already, so I can see why Giants focused on something else. Well, as always, as I always say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And we'll see you next time on the Everything Challenge as we actually put some of these new pieces of equipment into proper use, and I revert my save game and we actually harvest some of these crops that are now all withered. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Everything Challenge.